Hey gamers, this is Ed Park, aka Taugrim. In this video I review the Panther II. That's the Tier 8 German medium tank in the E50M line. It's an all-around tank, no particular strengths or weaknesses. I would say you can't rely too much on the hull armor or turret armor because they're not particularly strong, so you want to control your positioning and use hard cover to protect yourself. Relative to the Tier 7 Panther, this gun has much more alpha, so it has 240 alpha instead of 135. However, the gun is less accurate, and you'll see me miss a lot of shots even though I'm fully aimed. I usually come up with a midline, whether I'm on north or south, when I'm playing on this map in a medium tank, and I spot several tanks here and hit one of them. The great thing about spotting tanks early is that you can freeze them in place sometimes, which delays them from where they want to go, and they tend to be moving perpendicular to you, so it's easy to penetrate the hull. Take a shot here at this Tiger P in the cheek, which is on the side of the turret. It's the right place to shoot aside from the cupola, which is the hatch on top, but I don't get a penetration. And I notice he's hiding behind this building, so I go ahead and destroy part of the building there, the soft cover, and the Tiger P withdraws. You know, it's kind of funny. After I had this battle, I saw an article by Oneeechan. That's a European tanker who posts a lot on the Watt Labs forums. He's a Super Unicum player, and he has the same viewpoint that I do in terms of the lanes you want to go on this map. The worst lane to take is the far west lane. That's the camping lane where there's very little hard cover available. It's just a lot of soft cover, and once you get spotted, you know, you can just get ripped to shreds. And you'll notice periodically every time after I take a shot or after I get spotted, I back off down under the ridge of the hill, and that's to protect me from getting shot. And then that KV2, when he comes up over the tracks, I hit him in the neck, so that's kind of like the lower part of the turret because it's not covered by the mantlet. It's a very good weak spot to hit when you're looking at that tank frontally, you know, if the hull isn't exposed. So my platoon mate Triumph, he's the guy that I met back in SWOTOR. He and a couple other tanks are up on the hill, and the nice thing is about the hill, if you're in mid, is that once they crest the hill and they're kind of on the top part of it, they're totally exposed, and for the most part their tanks are going to be pointed north-south, so they're going to be perpendicular as well. It'll be really easy to penetrate them. The hill used to have more hard cover, but that was removed a few patches back, and so a hill is actually kind of a hard spot to be on because, you know, if there's a player covering mid from the other side like I am, you're going to get ripped to shreds. You notice I'm trying to take out this tank destroyer here to clear mid, and that shot bounces. But the nice thing is I'm able to spot him pretty quickly. I have coated optics equipped on this tank, as well as the recon skill for the commander and situational awareness for the radio operator. And it's good those things all stack together to help you kind of pierce through camo and spot tanks as quickly as possible. Now, one thing that this tank does have, which is very good, is 8 degrees of gun depression. So you're able to aim down when you crest hills like this, and it really affects to what extent you'll be able to peek up and shoot at tanks from this position north or northwest. There's one other thing I should mention about the hill coming from the south spawn like we did. If you get on top of the hill and get to the north side of the hill, that part's pretty brutal because in the northwest corner of this map you can see that island and there's cover there. And so, you know, if enemy tanks are sniping there, they'll tend to spot tanks coming from the south over the north side of the hill. And, you know, tanks will get ripped to shreds. So it's really kind of tough on the south spawn to push hill. Unless you've got a good light tank or scout in front of you who knows what they're doing and can avoid getting destroyed. Okay, so the score is 4-3. We're up by a tank, and a lot of the more kind of reckless players have already been taken out, so I'm being a little patient, hanging out by this rock for hard cover. And then this tank destroyer, I'm sitting here watching like, what the heck is he doing? This friendly player, he's driving over the top of the ridge, perpendicular to where a lot of the enemy guns are going to be pointing. So, you know, he made himself a very easy target to take out. If he wanted to cross the tracks, he should have come down to where I am and then loop over the tracks really quickly. All right, I'm still waiting. There's a couple players here from the other side, an IS-3 and then a Centurion. So I'm waiting for these players to get up a little higher the hill so I have some clear shots on them. Again, you can see I'm constantly moving back down to have hard cover whenever I'm spotted because, you know, there's an RD on the other side and I don't want to make myself an easy target. All right, there we go. So the IS-3 is pretty much, you know, kind of on top of the hill now. The north side of the hill coming up, there's kind of some trenches where enemy tanks can kind of push up and you don't have a lot of room to hit them. I'm trying not to overexpose my tank, so I've been moving up just enough so that I can get my gun and see the full target in order to shoot them. But aside from that, you don't want to necessarily come up too high on the slope to shoot at them, and you'll see me pay for this a little while later. Alright, so this IS-3, he's in a really tough spot. Obviously taking a lot of fire, both from in front of him as well as to the side, and I get the kill shot there. And Triumph and I are both shooting the Centurion. Triumph roots this player, detracts him, and then I get another shot in. The Centurion burns a repair kit to get out of there. It was a good decision on his part because he was very exposed to fire from two directions. The score is 6-6, so this battle is pretty close. I would argue that we have the superior tactical advantage because you can see one of our lights has gone up pretty far, but moreover I've got control of mid and there's no one in front of me. So, what I can do is I can sit here and do this, which is cover the northwest side of the map. I just shot a VK-3601 and then notice a full health tank destroyer. This is a pretty dangerous tank because his alpha, if he's got the top gun, does 750 damage. It's absolutely brutal. So that first shot misses. Thankfully that one lands, and then we lose sight of him because the scout on that side, our scout died, but I go ahead and shoot in the last known location of that tank destroyer and I take him out. Alright, that player there, that heavy tank in the town, only the very top part of his turret is visible, and so he's not necessarily a very attractive target, whereas the Centurion's a much better target since he's fully exposed. You can see I took a shot from the back, took a shot in the back of the head, and that's because I'm really higher up on the slope than I need to be. I mean, I can not only see the Centurion, but a lot of, of the terrain below him, so I exposed myself, and as a result, I got shot, the back of the turret. That's my mistake. Okay, and I, again, keep moving around constantly. I don't want to get artied. We are leading now 10-9. It's a close game, but it feels like we're in good position, and then Triumph takes out that KV heavy tank. Now here's a good example of what not to do. I'm really high up on this hill now. My turret's facing backwards, so I'm getting shot in the back of the head, which is a very easy penetration for my opponents. I'm not making them work for it at all. You can see the hole in the back of the turret. So that's definitely a mistake on my part. Thankfully, it doesn't really matter in terms of the outcome of this game, but in general, you want to be very careful about conserving your hit points. Alright, we're now up 11-9. Triumph got another kill there. We're in good shape, and this is like an ideal position to be able to fire at somebody. Like, if that VK-3601 happened to look at and try to fire in my direction, all he would see is just a sliver of my turret, whereas I can see pretty much his whole tank. Alright, at this point, the game's pretty academic. I go ahead and push on this side, and I find this tank destroyer here. He actually smacks me for like 500 alpha. That really hurt. I did need to burn the repair kit. I just did it because I wanted to survive this match, and I wasn't sure about the reload of that IS-2, but the IS-2 gets taken out there, and at this point it's just the Artie who's left. I will say this tank, on paper, I thought I would really enjoy it. I enjoyed the Tier 7 Panther much more. And the reason why is this tank only has 203 silver penetration, so that's not very good for Tier 8. And against Tier 9s and especially Tier 10s, you can really struggle to penetrate. So the Tier 7 Panther does better in Tier 9 battles relatively compared to how the Panther II does in Tier 10 battles. So I got my ace tanker here, and Triumph and I survived and got brother in arms because we each had at least 3 kills. So we did what we're supposed to do as the top tier tanks and helped to really anchor the match. And I did over 4,100 damage here and got 5 spots. So a good game, and partly helped by going to the right location on the map, and having good vision and fire control. So next up is the E50. That is the Tier 9 tank, and it really plays significantly different from the Tier 7 and Tier 8 tanks because it has an amazing gun, a laser, as well as armor that works really well. So I'm looking forward to sharing that battle with you. Let me know your questions and feedback. Hope you enjoyed it.